Batman the Animated Series is often considered to be one of the best adaptations of a superhero, not just in animation, but period. But it's not without its clunkers. Everyone has their least favorite episode. Personally, for me, it's Fire from Olympus. But Bruce Timm, one of the creators of the series, his least favorite episode is The Terrible Trio. Now, I didn't really understand this when I first found this out. Now, it's not a bad episode, but it's not a great episode either. But hearing that Bruce Timm hated this episode so much got me to wondering, how would I improve it? When I first watched this episode, I actually had a pretty good idea where they were going to go with this episode, and of course I was completely off base. But then thinking about how this episode was so despised by one of the creators of the show got me to thinking that maybe where I thought they were going to go with this episode would have been a really good direction to go with this episode instead of what they actually did. When I was first watching this episode, I thought that the voice actor Bill Mumy sounded a whole lot like voice actor Loren Lester. Bill Mumy, a science fiction alumni from Lost in Space and Babylon 5, was the voice of the leader of the Terrible Trio, the Fox, and Loren Lester was the voice of Dick Grayson whenever he showed up on Batman the Animated Series. So when I was first watching this episode, I actually had to pause the episode and look up who voiced the Fox to see if it was the same voice actor who voiced Robin, and of course it wasn't. But when I first thought that it was the same voice actor, I thought that maybe the plot of this episode was going to be that Bruce and Dick disagreed on how to take out the trio who have been menacing Gotham for quite some time, and so Dick would eventually go out on his own and infiltrate the team to take them down from within. Then Bruce would eventually find out, and then you would have a little bit of a battle between the two before they would eventually team up and take down the rest of the trio. And for a hot second, it might even seem like Dick likes the danger and thrills of being a criminal, but we would know better. This would be kind of like the Birds of Prey episode Primal Scream, where Huntress has to infiltrate a gang, and then she thinks that maybe she likes being part of this gang more than she likes being a superhero. What I like so much about this plot that they ultimately didn't go with is that it would have been a really good way to seed Bruce and Dick's eventual schism when Dick becomes Nightwing in between Batman the Animated Series and the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. After all, the only time that we actually see them butt heads is in the episode Robin's Reckoning. I think this would have been a really good way to not only improve the episode Terrible Trio, but also kind of make the whole series a little bit more arcy, which I know that was never really their intention, but whenever you start the New Adventures of Batman and Robin with Dick Grayson talking about how he never really got along with Batman, but then you look at Batman the Animated Series and that's not really the case, well, it would have been nice to have had a few episodes like this where maybe they could have butted heads a little bit more, but also at the end of the day still remain friends. But that's just my opinion on how I would have made this episode a little bit better. What do you guys think? Do you like my version, or do you prefer the version that we got? What's your least favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series, and what would you do to improve that episode? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this episode, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll see you guys in the future. Have a great rest of the day.